with this space, you try to close the gap with a stance. That's tempting and very common in a game that is so hard to move in. But you will run into keep out, and I run into keep out all the time. You have to use the discipline to dash block in. You want to go in with your movement. Because once you go to stance, you're committed, which means you can't block. 2, you get like a baby mix, whereas in a standing position, Julia has all her tools. You have forward 1+2, the mid safe wall bounce, or spacing for war drums. The way you talk about the game and the way you think about the game is fine. The fear response is hard to overcome, right? So like zooming out and like acting outside of what our instinct impulses us to do, which is like freeze or fight or press, right? But it's hard. I still fucking do this shit all the time.
This guy's a molester!
Ah!
I am gonna get you next tournament, PhiDX YEP, PhiDX Yaya.
Thanks so much for resubbing, Surge. Yeah, get me next tournament. I'll play Devil Jin if you want. If you desire, I will give you a fairer matchup with someone who will be in Tekken 8. Lamau. Alright, let's go over Julia Lydia. Let's check Julia Lee first. I don't know Lee very well, but that's fine. Alright, we have Julia Lee. Nice. Yep. Oh, okay, so here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing. So right here, you don't need to disengage. Right here, you have him right where you want him. You push the advantage, especially as Julia. If he does a get-up kick, that's fine. Just don't swing into it. But you run up to him and impose your Okazemi. Don't back up here. That doesn't make sense to me. And then, with this space, you try to close the gap with a stance. That's tempting and very common in a game that is so hard to move in. But you will run into keep out. And I run into keep out all the time. You have to use the discipline to dash block in. But you should also never create that space in the first place. So 2 issues is now that you're far away, get in safely. But you should also, you had such a lead, you don't need to back up. Alright. You can back roll that, I believe. Alright, so 4-4-3 hits. That move is pretty bad in a situation where people are pressing. Good effort. That's a good try. That move is, yeah, kind of whack. You have to like duck or low parry after the first one. Alright, so what are we seeing after this first game? We are seeing him constantly do forward 2-1 to keep out, right? Constantly. Just a tip range. He's always throwing it out. So, obviously it's hard to figure this out when you're trying to figure out what you want to do. But already my game plan is dash block in, stand still, and then see if he does it. If he does it, ducking the second hit is huge. Or, you could just back up, let him whiff it, and then punish the second hit anyways. The reason Lees don't do that at high level is because of the high. Otherwise, it'd be if that were a mid-mid, that'd be a disgusting keep out. Okay, nice. Keeping the pressure. So yeah, another situation. Instead of approaching with stance, you want to go in with your movement. Because once you go to stance, you're committed, which means you can't block. 2, you get like a baby mix, whereas in a standing position, Julia has all her tools. You have forward 1+2, the mid safe wall bounce, or spacing for war drum. So let me see if I can pull it up in practice mode and see if I can. I've never done this, so I don't know, but I'll try it. So on wake up situations, a strong character like with crazy 50-50s like Julia wants to push the advantage. You don't want to surrender the pressure. It's different if you're a character like what's a good example? Like a zoning character? Like, but even then, in Tekken 7, it's so Okazemi is so strong. Even a character like Asuka, who is considered more of a zoning character or a counter hit character, will still want to push the advantage on Oki. So you don't have to overcommit and die, but your goal is to get them to wake up and then deal with this mix. I don't know the spacing. Yeah, there. You want them to be dealing with this mix, which will require you to learn the spacing a bit, because I'm bad at it. I don't know the spacing. There are specific setups, so I think like Fergus might know this better than me, because I think he actually played Julia. But on wake up, it's something like on their tech roll, you're at the right spacing. Yeah. So at their tech roll, if you stand still, you're okay. No, not if you stand still. Here. What is it? 2.0? Too close. So this is something to practice. 2.3, too close. So it's probably like 2.5, 2.4. So from point blank, 1, 2. Oh, it's 2 backdashes away. Exactly, 2 backdashes away. So if you're point blank and you do 2 backdashes, you're at war drum range. And then you're still in range. So here you can threaten with that. Or at point blank, 2 backdashes, you can still threaten with that. So your goal is after you're doing all this and getting them to the wall, you just start threatening with this. This is Devil Jin's wall game, but better. Right? That is what you do to keep the pressure up, okay? So that's the first thing, is you're getting them knocked down, you're getting the first advantage. If you back up and reset to neutral, all your pressure vanishes. The only pressure you have is the health lead, which isn't bad. Julia can play keep out as well. Like, you have Magic 4, you have, I don't know what her keep out tools are. But if you choose to back up, you have choices. But you don't have to do the thing. So what I didn't like is you have the lead, you have the health advantage, you reset, and then you charge in as if you're behind, right? Thank you. So you have the health lead, you reset to neutral, which is fine, that's okay. But then you charge in as if you were behind and you have to make a comeback, like you run straight in. What I would rather see is you either stay in there, which is scary, I'm still working on that too. Staying in point blank and like keeping your pressure up like this, that shit's scary. Right? Like, that is so much scarier than giving it up. And then she backs off for 2 seconds and then this, right? Or she backs off for 2 seconds and then wall bounce. If I can execute it. Right? So that's kind of forward 3. Is maybe it's tech roll dependent? Oh, sidestep left, right? Sidestep to match the tech roll. So let's see. You'll have to lab it or like look at Julia players that actually know the setups, because I don't. But basically, yeah, that's what I would say is get that part down. Okay, so what are we looking at here? That's fine. So see how here's another situation. So Lee hits you with forward 3 on block. Okay. Minus 11. So he can't do anything. So what that means is if he tries to take an action, he should lose to you. Turn on short. Yeah, you don't have to insta while running yet. But basically, yeah. So when you're approaching with this stance, look at the range it covers, okay? So you're probably at range 3.6 or something, trying to get into point blank. But it costs a lot of time when you could just be forward 1-ing from a little bit closer. So from 4 point, it puts you in point blank. If you're at that distance, you do a single dash block, and then forward 1, you're in range. So Julia can play at this range without risking a stance or without running in. So let's look again at how you got caught a couple times. So stance, forward 1 would stuff that if you did it dash block in. And then down 4. Trying to FF, yeah, no big deal. That's a good thing to note. So like that lets me know that, okay, if you're getting a single forward 3, then you're doing it too fast. Anyway, so we keep the pressure up here. If we're gonna come in here, it looks like, yeah, so if that's a miss forward 3, that's fine. But in general, you can close the gap first before you even try that. But again, where you're using forward 3, forward 1 just does the job. Plus 4 means he can't do anything. If he tries to jab, he'll trade with this, which I believe gives you a guaranteed follow-up. I don't know the, yeah, 14 frames, so I don't know the... Yeah, that gives you a forward 3. Or if you're good, I think you can get a forward 1+2. Maybe. Forward 3 is the follow-up. So yeah, so every time this hits, they have to think, wow, this is uninterruptible. Every time they eat that, your down 3 is uninterruptible. If they crouch, you get a follow-up. You can also just delay that if they try to follow back. Oh, down 4, 3, 2. Okay, yeah. So this. So if they're... You can, wait, I don't think you can hit confirm that, yeah. But you can just check their duck with, down forward 3. Or just do that into that, right? Is this the same on counter hit, or is it only on duck? Okay, it's only on duck. Right? So the first two things, if I would say, because like there's a lot of things you can talk about here, but I would say the key things that'll give you a big edge already is not giving up your Oki when you have the lead here, and then using forward 1 in so many of the situations where you're looking to forward 3. Like forward 3 is fine there, but it's minus 14. Everywhere in this set where you want to do forward 3, I want to see a forward 1. He does this on block, forward 1. You just ignore whatever he's doing next. Because he... So what did he do? He did a forward 3, which is minus 11 on block. And then he did forward 2. So that is a 25 frame cost. Against your 11 frame, 12 frame move with the dash input, it will never win. Even, let's actually see how good it is. As fast as I can do it. Oops. So even if you're a little slow, you can do back 3+4. Right, I'm just saying he's minus 11, right? So you can just fuck him up. And once he's scared to press, you have him in your web. You just do whatever. Lee definitely has answers, but what I'm saying is like the muscle memory right now is to either hold it or do nothing. At least try doing what Julia has that's really good. I like the patience here. This is actually really good. This is really good. I don't know if Julia has a punish for that. She might. But you try to whiff punish the hop kick. That's fine. That's actually really good. Like, that's fine. You're just a bit slow. That's no problem. Oh, we got the run back. That's hype. Magic 4. Nice. Yep. Okay, just a small combo adjustment needed. And then here again. Here again. He should be afraid of you. This is not a situation where you should be afraid of him. You only are afraid of him if he does a get-up kick. But he should be afraid of you here, because his options are much more limited. If he stays down or side rolls, he gets hit again. If he does a get-up kick, you launch punish him. Right? Down 1+2. Oh, perfect. Anyways, so that makes sense, right? And then similar situation here. You're here. This is forward 1 range. And then magic 4 character is really strong. But you can do the same thing to him. Generally, after you eat a low like this, like a stature kick low, you can't really do anything without getting counter hit. You might already know that, but... I also have a similar compulsion to try and swing in the middle of strings. So that's definitely not unnatural. And I see you trying to adjust by, like, going slow. Just block. Okay, he's done. Now confirm. So I can see how it'd be frustrating to, like, I'm playing slow, and then he just gets away with it. And then I play fast, and then I get counter hit. So I can see how that would be annoying. The answer is just building the recognition of getting hit and, like, being okay with getting hit by stuff like that. And then, again, that was good. Using Julia's main thing, forward 1. A simple person giving simple advice might say, dude, just forward 1. But what I would rather say to you is, in situations where you're doing nothing, forward 1 is a safe move to choose because it has so much, like, priority with how fast it is and how evasive it is. And how it doesn't cost you anything to use it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, on wake-up situations, press your lead. Right? Like, don't have to back up. Yeah, like that. He has to be afraid of that. Not afraid of you. Forward 3 to punish? Yeah, that's a good point, Sickleby. You're so helpful when I'm not playing the game. Yep, okay. And then now he has to be afraid of you. Yes, good patience. That's sick. That's really sick. Now you have the wall game. So the point, I think here's what will help bring everything together. Forward 1 doesn't give you immediate reward by itself, right? Either you're only -2 or you're +4 when it hits. The purpose of forward 1 is to control the neutral, to get your opponent to stop pressing. Here, he should be stressed out. If you're just doing forward 1, nice block, holy moly. Forward 1, forward 1, forward 1. He should be afraid to press, okay? Because if he jabs, he gets killed. So, when that happens, he freezes. With enough control of the neutral, the opponent feels like they have to block. The answer then is when you have access to your mix-ups. So you can't do raw full crouch if the opponent is just pressing, right? If you just try to go raw full crouch like this a bunch, and this Lee is throwing out forward 2-1, it's gonna hit you every time. Right? So like here, I'll just get clipped. If I try to full crouch and mix him, like you'll duck the second hit, but you'll get hit, right? So how do we beat that? We just control him from doing it in the first place. Right? Just control him. And then after enough times of getting counter hit, he'll get annoyed that he'll want to stop. Right? Just even this is so good. She doesn't have a generic down 4. That's fine. Oh, she has a down jab. Nice. So yeah, you literally, you control them with this until they don't want to move anymore. They don't want to press. They don't want to move. And then when they hesitate, then you have access to this, right? You have access to this. And then if they start pressing again, you just go right back to this. And you don't have to spam it like I'm doing here. You just do forward 1, and then like low poke, and then back up, and then see what they do. And if he chooses to whiff again, then you punish, right? FF forward, yeah, forward 1 is, this game is now mine. I hope you had fun playing for the 2 seconds you got to play. Right? Does that help a little bit? Because you won this game. You made some good reads. You had not too many execution errors. What was missing was just a key part of your character's toolkit. And it makes sense. If you're not controlling what they're doing, which is what you talked about. Let me recap. If you don't mind me reading it. The problems that you saw in your own play was that I'm slow to react at times, and when I do, my inputs are slow, so I lose out in neutral. Your main neutral tool is not being represented in your gameplay, so it makes sense that you would lose neutral. Jab and forward 1. It's easier to mix up someone when you can control what they want to do. Think about how Lee was just hitting you with strings and you were freezing because you're like, well, I don't want to press into something and die. Empathize with that feeling of yourself and impose it on the opponent. So you're reacting slowly, but it's not really that you're reacting slowly, it's that you're put in a position where you're guessing. Like here. And you're guessing because you're not controlling the opponent, so they have a blank canvas to mix you up. Right? Too worried about blocking and punishing, which is an okay concern to have. It's just when to the extreme and you're always sitting and guessing, that's a big problem. Laggy monitor is also something to consider. I lack the matchup knowledge against most players to properly block strings. So that's a big thing too. What you can do is zoom out a bit. You don't need the perfect punish for somebody's string. It's, was the extension hitting me or not? And then you can dive into the lab and find out more safety later. Like if Lee's spamming this, and you don't know that it's a mid-high, there's still counterplay. You already saw it. Try to get him to whiff, right? You can also try guessing a few times, see if it's a high. So there's a few things. But also, yeah, that never goes away. So what good players do is they just kind of zoom out, and they're like, what can I do next? Okay, and it's okay. Yeah, you talked about the string ending and not punishing or pressing and getting counter hit. So that is also a function of you not imposing pressure on your opponent. One more thing. A lot of the time I feel like I'm fighting uphill. I'm chipping away and fighting for any counter hit I can find while everyone I play seems to launch me with basically any move and hit huge combos. I want to figure out how that... So yeah, so we did also find the hole in the game. I get killed and get up situations. That is a matter of composure, and then if you get killed once or twice hitting buttons, just make it your only goal to just tap up to stand up and backdash. That's literally it. Make that your goal. Also, Lanthas, good to see you. But yeah, that will solve a lot of your problems, is representing that you have hitboxes that the opponent should be scared to press into, right? And once they're afraid to press, then you gain access to your mix-up game. But you can't expect... Well, it's fair to expect, but also hard to get away with. What's this? What's her really bad down back 3? Down 3? Down forward 3? What's her low sweep that goes into full crouch? Back 4. Back 3. Back 3. Okay. You can't expect to get away with really slow moves like this until they're scared, right? So I'm not saying you have to play fully Korean and just jab and everything, even though Julia's jab is pretty good. She just has this, which is your mid jab. So yeah, control your opponent, make them scared to press, and then if you're getting nothing off of this, like if they're just block spamming, like if they're just doing this and you're not getting anything, even when you like put in the delay or this, you can't open them up. Now you're doing this because they're just stand blocking. Right? And now they're ducking, right? You got them to duck. Well, now you just have this. Or you even go safe and just go like that, and now you're plus fucking 15, so they just have to sit and take whatever you're gonna do next. Because if they try to move or press, they'll get killed. That makes sense, right? Hopefully that helps. I got my match now against Jumanji. But try that a bit. Like, what it's going to boil down to is you're just going to be pressing forward 1 a lot more, right? But now you understand kind of the purpose, right? It's like you want to make it so your opponent is scared to do something. So, in fact, in this circumstance, because we kind of talked about a lot, I would say don't sweat too much about implementing these new moves or including new moves. I literally just want you to start using forward 1 more and stick to what you were doing before. But see what happens when that happens, when you use that move more, and come back and convey how that feels. What does it feel like? What does it play like? You know, I'm really curious to see how that change alone makes a difference. I was working with a Fang player, and I just told him to literally use down forward 1 and jab more, and it was Firebird. Firebird's in here, and it like changed. He said it changed his game, right? I don't know if that stuck around or whatever, but like that was something we covered. Ooh, forgotten now. Anyways, we gotta fight Jerry. Good luck, Jerry. Call me Tom. Much ado, I hope that helped. I'm really glad you were willing to send that to me and listen to my feedback. I really think the way you talk about the game and the way you think about the game is fine. The fear response is hard to overcome, right? So like being strong and like zooming out and like acting outside of what our instinct impulses us to do, which is like freeze or fight or press, right? But it's hard. I still fucking do this shit all the time. Yes, I'm super happy, and I'm glad you were willing to share it, and I hope that helps, really, truly. I'm really excited to see how you work with that and what kind of progress you make, and if you don't make progress, we can like continue looking, you know? But you're a sub here, you might as well take advantage of the bennies, right? Like, why not take advantage of the benefits? But yes, much ado, let me know, like, sit on that a bit, soak it up. It's okay if it doesn't click right away, but of all the things that I would like to see you implement, forward 1, and closing the ground on Oki. And don't be discouraged if you get counter hit a few times by like get up kicks, which I imagine is the reason why you're not pressing the lead in the first place, because that happened to you. That's just a speculation though. But continue to push, because that is an advantageous state. So standing far away gives your opponent time to recollect, to get composed, and figure out how they'll approach you again. Julia is a steamroller. You have to guess, and even if you guess right, you might not get out of the situation. Blocking forward 1+2 doesn't give you anything. When she still has magic 4, down jab into 50-50. So if your opponent's mashing into you, you down jab and you're crouching, you can bow and arrow them. Lots of little tricks. And some of them will be gimmicky, some of them you'll get like stuck and you'll have to adjust. But it's a good start to shake up the place you feel stuck in now, and then continue to correct. Really excited to see how that goes, because I think uncorking that might help a lot.
Round 1. Fight.